Okay, great. So our planned topic today is taking a deeper dive into social media and how to market best in the mortgage space. We did a brief overview of this last month and are taking a deeper dive specifically into what we recommend you utilize on Facebook and Instagram, or sorry, LinkedIn. Okay, so what's going on in the industry? We just like to do a monthly recap of things we're seeing. The first is rates look like have slightly decreased over the last week. Nothing substantial, but definitely shows things are slowing, at least on the increase side. The next is I read a couple different articles that experts still expect rates to level out and begin to lower later this year. So good to continue to see that. I'm sure we're all waiting for that to happen, but they're still expecting that to happen. And last is purchase originators should do well later this year, according to a Freddie Mac article that I read. Again, just kind of going in line with those rates lowering. Okay, let's hop into the social media tips. So just in general, what are some tips you could follow across all platforms? The first is promote, promote, promote. So whether that's sharing things about your company, promoting a realtor, sharing that you guys have closed a new loan, anything like that, the more you can get out there, the positive news, all that good stuff, the better. The next is to keep it simple. So don't overcomplicate things. You don't want long posts. You don't want it to be 3 or 4 different posts to say one thing. Keep it to a minimum, as few sentences as possible. The next is to post 2 to 3 times a week and use scheduling tools. So set it and forget it. Don't have to worry about logging in to your platforms multiple times a week. Just use a scheduling platform. Most are incredibly cost effective and they can cross promote the same materials across different social medias as well. And the next is to know your target audience and join industry groups, get in front of the right people, getting in the mix with colleagues and people doing the same stuff as you just helps grow your information, your knowledge, and getting you in front of the right people. So the first social media we're going to hop into here is Facebook. There's tons of different things that people use Facebook for, but on the business side, there are a couple of great recommendations that I ran across specifically for mortgage professionals. The first is to make sure you have a complete profile, share your address, tag all the important things, maybe include a picture of your team, just making sure your profile is full and complete so that you are looking like a legitimate business as you are. The next is to interact as both yourself and your company. So maybe you post on your company page as the company, maybe you respond there as the loan officer yourself. Just being interactive, showing there's a face behind the brand and behind the company is really important and helps build those relationships with either closed loans, partner companies, things like that. So again, just putting a face behind the company. The next is to post video content. Video content's really easy to share. Facebook allows you to do this directly in the platform as well. So just creating that content, maybe sharing an industry update once a month or something like that, just getting your face out there, getting your voice out there, again, just adding a person behind the business. The next is to gather customer reviews and promote those reviews. So just sharing, good news, close this business with this individual, they're really happy, encourage them to write a review, promote those reviews. Maybe have realtors write their reviews of their interactions with you. So just getting the name and the face out there and just, again, adding some reality to the business, having other people share their information. The next is to use hashtags and make your postings interactive. Hashtags will help you pop up in searches, but also allows people to interact and see those different things. And then make sure that you're responding to people. So promote materials that maybe ask a question. What's your favorite 4th of July recipe? Things like that, just to get people talking. And then again, make sure that you're in there and responding as well. And the last is to create posts that promote conversations and interactions. So similar to the last, you want to use those hashtags and those comments that you're posting on your profiles to be conversation-based and interaction-based and really help you generate your business, get familiar with potential leads, realtors, things like that, and just really help grow those relationships with those interactions. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to my team member, Leslie, who's on the call, and she can go ahead and jump into what we recommend on the LinkedIn front.
All right.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Paisley, and good morning or afternoon, wherever you are. As Paisley mentioned, my name is Leslie, and I do marketing and content for Eduvo. And I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about LinkedIn here. So there was a study that was done. Whoops, I started at the very beginning. Here we go. There was a study that was done in last year, 2022. It was the fourth annual algorithm research report specifically on LinkedIn because, as Paisley was talking about, and I'm sure you found yourselves too, there's so much out there. How do I know when to post, what to post? And so this one was specifically done on LinkedIn, which I thought was interesting because I think a lot of these kind of algorithm studies tend to be done on Facebook and Instagram and maybe others. And so this one was really helpful because we think LinkedIn, in addition to Facebook, is a great place for loan officers to engage with existing realtors, find new business, just put themselves out there as a subject matter expert. And Loan Officer Hub did a study last year as well. And they asked a bunch of loan officers, what social medias work best. And 60% said Facebook, and then 60% followed by that was 40% said LinkedIn. So we wanted to focus on those today. So couple tips and tricks here on the LinkedIn front. So one thing that I thought was really interesting was activating creator mode. So if you're not familiar with that, if you are a LinkedIn poster and you get on there a couple times a week, post multiple times a week, you might want to look into creator mode. So if you're in your profile, LinkedIn has several different sections on your page where they give you tips and tricks of things to do. There is a spot on there where you can click to activate creator mode. And this algorithm study found that if you are in creator mode and you're actively putting stuff on LinkedIn, it could potentially increase your engagement by 15 to 35%. So if this is one of your social medias of choice, that might be something fun to experiment with and try. So basically what it does is it gives more weight to posts if you get good engagement. So it kind of helps get you out there in front of your audience better. And on that front, whether or not you go creator mode or not, all of these tips will be helpful for you on LinkedIn. So you want to try to keep your copy between 1,200 and 1,800 characters, not words, but characters. So LinkedIn does allow for a little bit more long form because it is more information driven, but you still want to keep it short. And you can use emojis on there as well if it makes sense for what you're posting. So don't be afraid to do that. That kind of humanizes you a little bit. And then you want to keep it between 2 and 6 hashtags. So I know the temptation is to find all of the hashtags that you can think of that would be related and put them in there. And you may have seen that done, but studies are showing currently that really the sweet spot is between 2 and 6 hashtags. And if you're not sure what kind of hashtags to post, look at folks, maybe your competitors or those you admire in the industry or others just in the mortgage space, see what hashtags they're using to give you an idea. And you can even do hashtag research. You can just do a simple Google, key hashtags in the mortgage industry, and you'll find a ton of resources there. But, you want to find something that if you were searching for this topic, what's something that you would think about to search for if you're maybe posting about, steps in the mortgage process or mortgage FAQs or, industry news. You could do, hashtag mortgage industry is really simple. Those are some ideas there that help you show up in search, and that can help with engagement. And, it doesn't have to just be business focused or mortgage focused. As Paisley mentioned with scheduling tools, if you use a scheduling tool to schedule out, your next, say we're looking at the month of July, and you're sitting down now, you can kind of start with the low hanging fruit. What are the holidays that happen in July? Maybe there's National Ice Cream Day. You can have fun with your posts and intersperse some more informational and educational posts with some things that are, fun and something that you might find interesting as well. Or hey, here's a link to some great 4th of July recipes, that, and then hashtagging, 4th of July recipes, that can also puts you in the mix to be found a little bit more on LinkedIn and other social media platforms as well. And one of the big questions is, what's the sweet spot? When's the best time to post? There's really no silver bullet or easy button for when to post. But this algorithm study found that typically on LinkedIn, Monday through Thursday, posting in the morning tends to get better engagement. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not surprisingly, early to mid-afternoon is a little bit better as people maybe kind of slide into the weekend and aren't as active early morning. But I add that asterisk there because your audience may get on there at different times. If you are targeting a very niche audience and, maybe you're doing, VA loans or focusing on military folks, maybe, okay, they're always on super, super early. So I want to make sure, I'm on super early, or maybe you're focusing on, more business type clients who might be bankers. And, so there could be that. But if you're just sitting there thinking, I have absolutely no idea, then this is a good guide to try to follow. And you can kind of see and experiment a little bit if you, post on Tuesday mornings at 8:30. For a while and aren't really getting a lot of bites, maybe you switch that time and see, there's a little bit of trial and error. So I wish I could tell you exactly the right time, but that's kind of a guide if you just are getting started and don't know where to start, especially if you're using a scheduling tool. You can schedule out your posts specifically, for the time and date that you would like it to go out. There are some scheduling tools that will give recommendations just based on some AI learning that the tool does. So it depends on what you're using. And that's another fun way to experiment. Another thing with LinkedIn that you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to get that engagement happening. So kind of twofold on that. The algorithm study showed that within the first 90 minutes of your post is really when you really want the engagement to happen. And that's what LinkedIn will really honor in terms of getting you up there and shown more. But you don't want to be the first one to comment on your own post. So maybe if you've got others in your organization or even friends, you can say, hey, help me out. I'm trying to grow my LinkedIn. I'm going to post something. Can you just go on there and like it or comment? And that can help at least get the ball rolling for you. Now, if other people comment, definitely go back on and respond to their comments. And, you want to do so within a day just to keep that engagement going and keep the conversation going as well on LinkedIn. And, as Paisley mentioned earlier, consistency is key. So posting, 2 to 3 times a week at minimum is ideal. And another thing to think about, as I go into the next slide of kind of ideas of what to post, consistency is key. So maybe you decide I'm going to post Tuesday tips. Every Tuesday, I'm going to post a mortgage tip. So then your followers will start to know to look for that coming every Tuesday, or, Wednesday wisdom, motivational Monday. I mean, there's lots of fun alliteration that you can go for on that if that's your jam. But when you're thinking about what you want to post, those are some easy things of places where you can start. And then let's talk about a little bit of just some general ideas. We could sit here probably all day and talk about ideas to post and dig in a lot deeper on some of these topics, but just to get you started, or maybe you've been on it for a while and just kind of need a refresh. Some things that you can post, and this can go for both, Facebook and LinkedIn. I would say, typically between the two, Facebook does have more of that social, personal element, whereas LinkedIn does tend to stick more on the businessy side. But that's not to say you can't still let your personality show and have some fun on LinkedIn as well. So just some ideas of what to post. All social media platforms really give a lot of credence to videos, which might sound a little scary if that's not your thing. But most people, I think, if you've got a smartphone, you can post a video. And the good thing about social media now is consumers don't really expect high quality, super processed, super slick video. People are used to seeing, and I think really like seeing, the real you. So you taking a photo or a video with your phone, Just set it up. You of course want to have good lighting and, make sure your hair is brushed. But other than that, just be you, and posting a video of you talking about the mortgage process might really reel in some, some new buyers instead of reading about it. Some people really like video. So if you're comfortable doing that, give it a try. You could also try to jump on Facebook Live, which also sounds scary, but people are okay with, fumbling over words and just being a human if they're getting information that's interesting to them. So if you've been on Facebook for a little while and have some good follower base, you might want to say, hey, next Tuesday, I'm going to be on Facebook Live at this time, talking about, home buying 101 or tips for first-time home buyers, or, something of that nature that you could easily write something, and that would be great, but maybe try it as a video as well. Another thing that can be helpful is infographics to explain the mortgage process or talk through anything that might be just a little bit more difficult to get across. And there are lots of tools and resources online where you can even, use existing content that's there. I know there's subscription services that offer infographics there, or if you like to dig in and be a little bit more creative, there are lots of tools out there, and you don't have to be a graphic designer to use. Canva is one of them, to create some infographics that talk through different mortgage terms, and you can post those on social as well. Another thing to post is just kind of sharing in all shapes and forms. So, easy thing to do. Are there any news sources that you follow that you think are really helpful, informative about either what's going on in the industry, or, tips and tricks about the mortgage process, or things that you think would be informational for realtors? Those are all really great pieces of content that's already been written by somebody else. And you can share that of, hey, I found this article really helpful, hashtag mortgage news or whatever it might be. So that's something that's pretty easy to do. And then also in terms of relationship building with your realtors, maybe you have some realtor friends or partners, or those maybe you're starting a relationship with, and maybe they post interesting things about what's happening in the community, or also different news tips. Maybe you can repost some of their content, give them a shout out. And that's just some nice juju that you're forming with, your realtor partners and potential partners. And then if your company or you yourself, has a mortgage blog, again, that's easy content that's already been written. And the good thing about a blog is it's a lot of content. So you could even pull little snippets from the blog and, put it into several different posts, and link out to that blog post. So that twofold gives you content that's easy to share, and then also drives traffic back to that blog, if that's something that you have, or, even just information on your website. Perhaps you've got a nice mortgage calculator on there that you want to share, or information about the mortgage process. That could be something. And then again, co-branding with your realtor partners, if they have home listings and they're okay with you sharing it, that's another great way to help them out. They want to sell those homes, and you want them to refer you as the LO on that mortgage. So those are just a few things you can do. And some of these we've kind of talked about that can kind of fall into other categories, but just general mortgage FAQs. I was a first-time home buyer several years ago, and there was a lot that I didn't know. And so I think there's a lot of people out there who are Googling and searching social media for information about the mortgage process, whether it's, a specific niche kind of loan, maybe you do VA loans or first-time home buyers, anything of that nature. You can break it down into different mortgage FAQs. And like I talked about earlier, maybe you put it into a series. So every Wednesday you post a little something about, defining a complicated mortgage term, or, things to know as a first-time home buyer. Those are, easy things that you can spread out, throughout your content calendar on social media. And then, as Paisley mentioned earlier as well, it is social media. So social being the key term. So let them see who you are. If you are a dog person and you want to post about your dog, that's okay too. And I think it humanizes you. amongst all of the other information that you're sharing. And then same for your company. If there's company updates or employee updates, maybe your company got together and volunteered in your community, share that. Or there's a new employee or someone who's been with the company 10 years and they're celebrating. People like to know who they're working with and what kind of, people they are. And I think that helps with the process too. And then again, promote what makes you different. So if you really specialize in a particular area, or if you are just super knowledgeable, promote that. So if you want to make yourself known as, the LO in the know that people start to follow for information, that can be something that makes you different. And then, like I said, make things as personable as possible. We are all human, and, think about what you like to see on social media just as a person, and, think about how that can translate into your business pages that you're doing. And let me look at my notes here, but I think those were the main things I wanted to talk about. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg, but some things you can think of as you're either getting started or wanting to revamp what you're doing on LinkedIn or Facebook, and just some things you can start to populate, your social media calendars, especially as hopefully if the experts are correct, things might be picking up towards the latter part of this year. This would put you in a great place as people are starting to buy again or start researching mortgages in more frequency, we hope. You want to be out there and people see this from you. So it'd be a good thing to start now or continue doing now, if that's something that you're already doing. But I think, Paisley, that is what I have here, and I can kick it back over to you and then certainly open it up for questions as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So Leslie, thanks for covering all that great information. We've got a couple people on here. Just want to make sure we can answer any questions you guys have. One thing that I'm sure some of we are a email marketing and text marketing platform. We are looking to set up a portal hopefully later this summer to share some additional information with you guys regarding social media and all that. So any questions you guys have, we're happy to answer them. Leslie is a regular poster of our social media, so she's definitely in the know if you guys have anything you're looking to hear about from her.
Well, Paisley, I did want to hop in real quickly because I did not mention, but one of the biggest parts that I didn't put on the slide is maybe not the most fun part of social media, but compliance. So I just wanted to put that plug in there for, anything that you're putting out on social media that involves rates or, anything that you're questionable about, make sure to have it reviewed by a compliance team as well. And so the good thing with scheduling posts is if you have all your posts ready to go, run them through compliance, and then that they're good to go and they can go out as scheduled. But I wanted to mention that just because that's important in our industry as well.
Yes, agreed. Very big thing. One of the fun sides of mortgage, is it not?
Yes.
Okay, before we close things off here, just wanted to ask a couple questions just for follow-ups. So the first here, we do host these webinars monthly. We try to keep them educational. If you're interested in attending next month, feel free to let us know. I can go ahead and sign you up. We haven't confirmed the topic exactly, but we try to keep it marketing, whether that's email, text marketing, or social media related. So definitely a great place for you to hop on and learn information. We're also hoping later this year to get some other people on, maybe realtors, things like that, to share things that they're looking for. So if you're interested, we can definitely sign you up. And then the next, we do have our marketing platform, Aduvo, that can automate a lot of this for you. If you're interested in a free site, we're happy to stand that up for you. You can take a look at the marketing content that we have available. And a lot of that content is something that you can use to actually post on social media. So Leslie creates monthly newsletters that you guys can take pieces from that, post on social media and things like that. So if you're interested, just let us know. We're happy to reach out to you and help you guys grow your business. Okay. And then this other one, I just like to have a general idea. This wasn't specifically marketing related like our other webinars have been in the past. But just understanding your marketing pain points, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of information on that end, it'll just help us make sure that we're creating these webinars and adding materials and things like that that would find helpful for yourselves. So any feedback you want to share on any marketing pain points you have will definitely help us out as well. Okay. And then thank you everybody for hopping on. Again, looking forward to having some of you guys on next month. We will be sending that follow-up email tomorrow morning, so that will include the recording. And then all of our recordings are housed on our Aduvo YouTube channel as well. So when you get that email, if you want to watch any previous calls or anything else that we've had, definitely feel free to do so. And we look forward to seeing you guys next month. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thank you all.